Where is the rest of the justice?
All right. So I was on Twitter and I was getting ready to check my notifications and I saw a headline. And normally I just kind of ignore these things. But it caught my eye when I saw one familiar word, and it was Guyger. That's what caught my eye. So if anyone can remember, Amber Guyger is the police officer, peacekeeper, law enforcement agent, or whichever you want to call her, that went home, thought she was going to her apartment. Someone was in there banging on the door, lots of yelling, witnesses, neighbors, and whatnot says, and ultimately gained entry to the home. Saw a man sitting down, eating. She claims it was dark. A lot of things that could have happened. Shot him dead. There was lots of arguing back and forth, and he's questioning her. He's concerned. He's scared. She doesn't care. Officer safety, it's in their training. She was trained to do what she did when she killed him. Now, both of them, Gene is no longer on this planet. So everyone that knew him, they've been ailing all this time and they want justice. And justice should be had. This is a good thing to an extent. See, Amber Guyger, after she committed the crime of murder, she was scared. She was scared. She was only scared about herself. She's going to lose her job and things. Now, I've been watching a lot of police videos, Studio News Network, and very scarce other shows. Studio News Network, he pretty much goes into great detail about everything. He studies law and what's being ignored and things like that. Oftentimes, the police officer will offer their badge, basically turn in the badge, resign to evade anything like this. She was extremely scared on the recording. So she goes to court. She goes under the microscope. And for some reason, Lady Justice wasn't blind when it came to her. That just strikes me odd because there are officers that practically get away with murder when they're running away and get shot in the back 7 times. When they see someone on the side of the road and the officer's having a bad day, pull up and just start confronting them, shoots them, and claims the person was reaching, claims the person had a hold of, claims the person had a bad attitude, claims the person had looked like a demon, or somebody broke down in the middle of the road where airborne cops will say, "Oh, just like a bad dude, yeah, he high on something," and then he's shot dead. Where a guy that can't hear because he's deaf does not follow officers' shouted commands and gets shot and killed. A place where a guy can lay on the ground trying to protect a mentally ill person with his hands up and get shot anyway. Where a man is told to get his ID from the truck where he says it is, turns around, and the officer says, don't reach, and shoot. Where a man follows the law and say, I do have a firearm and I am licensed to carry it, and the officer panics, tells him to get his license, and when he begins to go for his license, don't reach, fires 5 or 6 rounds into him. This stuff here, and we all know about Freddie Gray. He's not last, not least, but he's the most known, so that's why I didn't want to bring all that up. But for those that are annoyed if I don't, where a man can break up a fight to make sure no one goes to prison or jail, and instead is hounded by the police, circled, and then choked out and jumped. Where he claims he cannot breathe, his air goes low, he dies. And then they just say, oh, he died because he overweight. That's why he had the heart attack. He was fine until you attacked him. You know, cause and effect. It's a thing. So I got this from U.S. News. I saw it. Well, I didn't get it. I saw it on the side and I clicked. Amber Guyger, police officer who shot a man to death in his apartment, found guilty of murder. Amber Guyger, a former Dallas police officer, shot and killed Botham Jean when she entered his apartment, allegedly thinking it was her own. On Tuesday, Guyger was found guilty of murder and will now await sentencing. Photo via at CBS News Radio. I'm not going to put the photo up. Not happening. But you can definitely, I guess, I mean, I could put the link in the description. I don't know. It's not really that, the pictures aren't as relevant as the other overall message. While all of these other officers got off, she is made an example of. Where is, now her going to prison? Yes, that is needed. But why are the others not going to prison? Why are all the other murderers not going to prison? How do juries let them off? How? I mean, you got Trayvon Martin. It didn't thoroughly start everything, but when it comes to things being recorded by some facsimile, it's the father of it. And when I say that, I mean like for this era. We're not talking about Rodney King, not back then. We're talking about this era here. You know, and no, it hasn't stopped since, you know, slave trades. It's been going on since then. But this female's been made an example of, and nobody's speaking up about that since the beginning. Why is she on trial? I remember thinking, why is she even on trial when others have done worse? I mean, come on, when a cop can sit there and put somebody on the floor and do Simon Says, and when he can't do everything and he's all disoriented, he gets shot dead. There are things that are not fair. There are things that don't make sense. And if it's true justice, if it's truly by the law, if it's truly by your own peers, which they're not, these officers would not one of them would be able to survive a trial, because did you shoot a person without needing to? Were you in wrongful fear of your life? Were you just panicking and used your license to kill? Because that's what's been going on. That's not right. And sending her to prison is just, but the fact that no one else has is unjust. And if I had the power, I would definitely call on all those trials to be retried. I understand the double jeopardy, rule and whatnot. I get it. It's done, said, it's over. I get it. But judges in this country have shown an unprecedented level of corruption that you thought only happened in movies. So they are able to do what they want to do. If you can't get them on criminal, you can get them on civil. Hit those pockets until they have no choice but to change their ways so they can stop hemorrhaging money. Because if the state hemorrhages money back to the people that is siphoning it from, that right there is the casino messing itself up. Therefore, hit those pockets. There are multiple ways to get at people. There are multiple ways to get at this pro-capitalist system, and that is it. Botham Jean will not be the last. And Amber Guyger, she is only in this situation because she's female. Just like a video of a female officer who had her home was being raided and is killing her birds. There was not one reason, not one call. Even she had to cite, hey, this is unconstitutional. This isn't right. I wonder how many times she enforced herself on people. And now when the men come around, she realizes just what everyone else go through. So here's the thing. Females, socially and everything else, have all the power. They can get away with slapping people, abusing people. They can get around throwing drinks in people's faces, screaming and causing, disorderly conduct. They can get away with any and everything. All right? But a female only messes up when she goes against the power of any patriarchal situation. That's the only time a female has zero power, is when she goes against the higher financial power or the pride of males. I'm no feminist, and I pretty much don't like feminists, but I am all about some equality. And what this woman, Amber Guyger, is getting, a whole lot of other officers should get, and there should be something she can do to say, hey, they did worse. They did dog and pony shows and got off. Why am I going to prison? There's an officer, that the man that was walking down the street, he had nothing on him. Officers shot him over 16, 17 times, said he had a knife. There's a mentally disabled man, naked, with a screwdriver, walking along the side of his home. Officer shot him dead. Examples don't need to be made. Justice needs to be had. That's just it. But this is all I think I should say about this. This is good in terms for Botham Jean, only in the fact that his murderer will face justice. But the only true justice that can actually be had is if there was a way to bring Botham Jean back. That's it. Bring him back to the glory that he was before she got a hold of him. That is the only true justice that can actually be had. And since those can't be reversed, you got to go forward with something. This is Cedric Kennedy for Comparative Reasoning. Thank you for listening.